Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome back to the quantum state. You're already here. Haha. It's like my tagline for it if it were a travel destination. Okay. So I'm going to try to speed through this video. Number one, it's 9:45 at night and I want to be quiet by 10. But number two, this is just so much and I want to just kind of cover all of the conceptual stuff. There's just a lot. So I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as humanly possible. Okay, so remember we're all in the quantum state. Everything is one. Everything is happening all at once. It's just our level of discovering consciousness that is what's allowing us to be wherever we want in life. We get to pick which dimension reality we live in. We get to pick how we feel at any moment in time because we know that emotions are energy and we go up the scale from low frequency to high frequency and you can reach enlightenment like a light switch. That's one of the great cosmic ironies and great cosmic jokes of it all is that enlightenment is just a perspective shift. Okay, you can meditate for years and never understand that. But if you go, I can go do the laundry and either I can think of this as a chore and hate my life or I can think it's fun at a party. You choose. It's your life. You could be having a party all the time, or you can be miserable thinking that you're wasting your life. Up to you. Really, truly. So we're going to get into quantum state stuff and we're going to talk about the body. So this is part 2. We talked about the brain a little bit ago and now we're going into the body because the brain is like the computer of the body, and then the heart and the stomach and all the other organs, well, they're the rest of the computer. They're the circuitry. They're what's making this all happen, right? So we're gonna do body alignment. Okay. And again, sobriety, celibacy, and again, I don't know what else to call this. I haven't come up with a term for it. Poverty, blah, blah, blah. These are all going to get you into different, I'm going to switch my pen, universal, divine, energetic dimensions, where you will have crazy perspective shifts in all of these. You will have crazy moments of enlightenment in all of these avenues within the quantum state. If you go that way, you will discover what you discover. I can't really tell you. I know what I learned, but it's going to be different for everyone. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's probably going to be in the same camp, but you're going to learn what you need to learn because you've had a different life trajectory than I have. Actually, you've had the same one where we're just all discovering it at different various moments of consciousness. I know it's crazy, right? So let's get into it. Okay. Body alignment. Okay. When we start cultivating our brain energy, remember we have this brain diagram, and if you have anxiety, your brain's probably going like this all the time, and really what we want to do is make sure that we're harnessing the power of those thoughts to flow in one direction. Really, really important, okay? So when you finally start getting the understanding of meditation isn't just focusing on your breath. Yes, that's nice. It's not just letting go of stress. Yes, that's nice. There's a deeper, more advanced intention of meditation, and that is to cultivate your energy practice, okay? It's really cool because what you get to do at the end of it is freaking amazing. You get to bend time and space, instant manifestation, discovering the quantum state, going on this life adventure where 50,000 crazy things will happen to you in a single day if you're aware of what's happening, okay? And it's happening right now, but you may just not be aware of what's going on around you and within your body. Remember, we have infinite frequencies outside of us and we have infinite frequencies inside of us. All of the universal codes, all of the universal blueprints exist outside of us and they exist within ourselves. It's the law of nature, okay? So let's get into it. I'm going to draw my human gingerbread person. Bear with me. This is anatomically accurate. I'm an EMT, so I get to say that as a medical professional. I'm just kidding. Don't let me lose my license. That's a joke. Okay. So here's my ginger person, okay? So we have the brain. we have the heart, and we have like the gut, right? That's my stomach. Don't tell my teachers. Okay, so this whole thing, your whole body is a system, right? Remember, art, all of art exists within system. The quantum state is a system. That means it has principles, concepts, and laws that it has to operate within. This is beautiful because the laws get really cool the further out you explore, okay? Because then you get to like do things with like lightning fast, energetic wizardry. I don't know what to call it. So anyway, so your entire system is, your entire body is a system, right? We have the circulatory system, right? Circulatory. That's your blood. That's like the gasoline. You have your nervous system, right? Your nervous system is just your body sending electric impulses down. It's like allowing you to feel. This is why sobriety is so important, because when you are drinking alcohol, you are shutting off parts of your brain that control your nervous system. Therefore, you cannot feel, okay? You cannot sense the energies, okay? You have your digestive system. Oh, I guess that's more like the feel. Oh, wait, did I say gas? Circulatory system? Oh, I guess that's like the water cooling it down. I don't know. Anyway, digestive system, okay? Everything is a system. It's in the name, right? And so what happens, and it's just like a car engine where all the systems work in tandem with each other, okay? Just like us, just like humanity, all of us are different, unique little snowflake systems that all work in tandem with each other, even if we're across the world. Maybe it doesn't feel like it, but we do have an effect on each other because we are interwoven in the quantum state. We all exist in it, okay? So, they have like done studies now, right? So these are lightning bolts. That's not stinky lines. This has an electric magnetic force, okay? It's emanating electricity, right? From your brain, your skin, whatever. Your heart, though, they have measured this with like scientific tools. I don't know what they're called, but they did. So so they say. You can research this on the internet, but they have recorded that the heart has a 5,000 times more powerful electromagnetic field, magnetic field than the brain, okay? This is where we're starting to understand the aura, right? When people are like, oh, she's a good vibe, she's good aura, whatever. It's probably emanating from the heart. No? Yes. Then we have the stomach. People say that the stomach and the brain are like two different brains, like your stomach is your second brain, but I would say three of them, they're all brains in their own right. But they all work in tandem with each other, right? But the heart is very interesting, and I'll maybe get into that later if I don't completely forget what I'm talking about. So you can go look this up. It is called the microcosmic orbit. And this really comes up in celibacy, okay? And if you're a dude, you probably know this as nofap. Okay, so the microcosmic orbit is this, again, kind of like highway, it's called a highway, in your body that goes up your chakra system and down your spine. And it looks like that. If you are on I totally forgot the name of the anatomical thing. So you're looking at the person sideways and it's like it's this way, right? So if this is, I'm totally gonna butcher this. Don't tell my EMT professor. Okay, so this is gingerbread dude on its side, right? Here's its eyes and that's its smile. So the microcosmic orbit is going up the chakra system. So this is the root, right? Root, we have the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And then here's the spine. So it's going this way, okay? So it looks like this, okay? And what you're supposed to do, let me redo this, right? So you have that circuit going, right? The orbit. And what you're supposed to do during meditation, if you get really good at this, especially if you're celibate, because the root chakra energy that exists there is some of the most powerful energy that you will find. It's called the I am energy. It's the present. It represents security, like protection. This is like wealth. This is, it represents a lot of like groundedness, rootedness, right? It's called the root chakra. And this is where your Kundalini, you guys might have heard this before. This is where your Kundalini rises up, right? And it's this like snake energy. And so during celibacy, the whole point of this is to clear all of the energies out of the chakra system, right? And allow it to come out. So remember, we're talking about you might cry to release energy. You might scream. You might journal. You might dance, create art. Okay, whatever it is that you do. You want to start unlocking and unleashing all of this stagnant energy that's built up in your body. And sometimes it's gonna exist all bundled up in these like weird places within your body, right? It doesn't need to all be within the chakra systems. It could be tightened up in your hands, or maybe you have really, really tense shoulders, okay? There's probably stagnant energy in there. Go get a massage, whatever you need to do, go to spa day, whatever, and allow it to come out, okay? A lot of people are afraid to feel those things, but all you have to remember is that it's just stagnant energy. You gotta get that out of your body, right? Because law of detachment. You have to let go for the energy to clear. Energy is not created nor destroyed. It only transforms, so it needs to come out. So other energy, not new energy, because there's no such thing as new energy, but other energy can come back in and then give you new life, okay? That's how this works. So the idea during celibate meditation, or whatever you want to call it, is you want to start unlocking all of this, but what you end up getting down to is your root chakra, okay? Because a lot of people associate sex with this, and sexual energy is very powerful because it is rooted in all of humanity, all of existence. The root of everything is the all, but it's also creativity, okay? And what is sex? It's reproduction. It's creating new humans, etc., right? Now, here's the trick. I'm gonna tell you something. The secrets. This is part of the blueprints. So you start understanding this energy cultivation, right? And what you want to do is you want to start funneling in the energy, and you're going to start kind of like mentally grasping onto it. You can control this energy, and you're going to start circulating it up and down your body, right? You're going to just kind of like breathe it. Remember, like breath is everything. And it's kind of like a power washer. Like your breath is just incoming new or other but new energy, and you can push things around, okay? That's why it's so important. It's like an accordion. You can really make some music when you're putting in some breath. So we're getting out all of the sharps and the flats, and we're starting to make new music, right? So what we want to do is start circulating the energy up and down, and what's going to happen is you're going to start, the energy is going to, the new stuff is going to come in here, and it's going to clean this out, and then you're going to weep, and you're going to cry, and you're going to bawl, and you're going to scream no pillows, blah, blah, blah. Trauma's coming out. New life is coming in, okay? You will start accessing Kundalini energy. And a lot of people, when they start doing this, it awakens something. People call it a spiritual awakening. And a lot of the times this is paired with your life collapsing. I joke, or I laugh, but it's actually very true. So your 3D world will start collapsing. Okay. You know what I mean when you'll know what I mean. And a lot of times if you are into tarot or anything like that, you might know it as Dark Night of the Soul, or a Tower moment. Okay. All of those are interchangeable with what's happening in the spiritual awakening. That's the next step, right? You have this, oh my God moment, and then, and remember, this is actually all a pattern of decluttering. This is the quantum, right? Decluttering to void state to creation. Okay? The next step after you realize you're in a spiritual awakening and your life goes to crap, you're actually in the process of decluttering, but because it's so new, it's so overwhelming, and you're feeling all these feelings you never felt before, and all of this is coming out and it's raising out. But that's what we're in. We're in the initial phase of decluttering. Okay. And when all that energy comes out, and you've had the good cry that maybe lasts about 4.5 months, when you had that good cry, then you come into the void state and you start to feel better, and you're like, okay, I think this is over. What can I do? Okay. But this little dude will start coming out, the Kundalini energy. And a lot of people call this the life force energy. And you'll know why. Because if you've ever had sexual energy, try that, but on steroids. And that's what the Kundalini feels like. So what you want to do as you're doing the celibate energy, right? Because you don't want to waste it. You don't want to waste it. You like, it's going to feel very powerful. You're going to probably need to go run some laps outside, probably have to stop looking at other people for a while. But this guy's going to come out of his little basket, all right? That's inside of you. And he's going to start slithering up, okay? And your job is going to take control over the Kundalini energy, and you're going to start making it go around, up the chakra system, down the spine, up the chakra system, down the spine. And you can have the Kundalini energy like sit in the solar plexus for a while and just let it explore, let it clear it out, let it take over, okay? And then move it up, and then move it down the vertebrae, blah, 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 okay? Okay, so practice that 10 minutes a day for however long, 2 weeks, whatever. Just start understanding the energy cultivation, right? So we are now back in our crown chakra, back in our brain, and we're really understanding how to direct the energy. By this point, because you've started to clear out the trauma, guess what? Your anxiety is going to go down. Your depression's going to go down. It's going to start to go away. Holy crap, right? And you're in the quantum state, right? So any reality can happen, but you have to follow the fear lines. You have to keep meditating on your fears. This is why the Buddhist death meditations are so important. Okay. When you are in a sober mind, a celibate mind, and you are stopped doing mass consumption, okay, add in the Buddhist death meditations, because they are going to surface the most fear that you can, and then you can transmute that fear. You have to get it out of your body, and you have to shift it from low frequency to high frequency. And all you have to do is be aware of it, follow the line, and then go, oh, what's the root of this? Oh, it's because my mom said something shitty to me when I was 4. Okay, let it out, right? Sit in the void state. New energy will eventually come back in. Chill. Okay. Okay. Now here's the extra juicy detail. Below the Kundalini energy, there actually lays a little nest. I'm just kidding. It's not 2. But there's something that's more precious than anything on the face of the planet. And it's what lies underneath the Kundalini energy. It's here, okay? This is potential energy. This is the life force energy. This is the ultimate divinity energy that you need to gain access to, okay? You have to master the snake. You have to understand the energy, and you have to uncover the potential energy. It is small, but mighty, okay? Think nuclear fission, okay? Small, split the atom, but those tiny little atoms, you just crack them open and, right? That is the exact same thing, because everything on the outside exists internally. This is the most potent force in the world. Just kidding. It's not, but it might as well be. Okay. This is powerful. And that is what we're working for. Okay. So when you start getting into this, quantum leap like no other. Like no other. And then you have to understand how to hone and cultivate this energy. Okay. So that was a lot, but I'm going to go and do a couple of other things. I'm going to just run down a list of like potentialities of what might happen to you as you're doing this, so you know what to look out for. So I don't know if I want to scribble all this down. Things that might happen. Okay. Things that might happen. Your diet will change. Sleep cycle will change. You'll get super emotional. Possibly fatigued. Extra sensitive to crowds. Overstimulation. Okay, so like going to normal things that you might do, like going to the gym at the same time, might actually start being overstimulating, because you're going to become more sensitive to the energies around there, and you're going to be extra sensitive to low frequency energy. You're going to be extra sensitive, and it's going to become like a repulsion, right? Because you're starting to magnetize that energy, right? You are instead of being an outward repellent, okay, which is where you might be right now, you are actually going to start being magnetic, okay? So you're changing, by cultivating that energy, you're changing your charge, okay? So outward, low frequency to inward, high frequency, okay? That's the shift that we're working on. And then this is where the instant manifestation really starts taking off. Okay, so you're gonna be more sensitive to crowds and overstimulation. Your friends are probably gonna drop off. Friends will stop hanging out with you. And this is just kind of a natural thing. You're just not gonna really have anything in common anymore. So nothing hanging out with you. And again, like, some of these might happen more than others. Like there's not one, like I'm not going to tell you that everything exists on this list will happen to you. It's just a various amount of things. So if stuff starts feeling a little wonky waggy, go with it, okay? Go with the flow. Friends will stop hanging out with you. You'll find different interests. You'll stop watching things like reality TV. That won't interest you anymore. You'll start being attracted to meditation, spirituality. And remember, spirituality, spirit equals power equals energy. Holy Spirit, high frequency energy, higher power. It's the same shit, okay? So those are just a couple of things that might happen. Everyone is kind of unique in this sense, but you're going to start probably like figuring out that you have addictions and you want to start overcoming things. You're going to start reading more. You're going to start going to the library more, or maybe going to church more, or synagogue or temple or whatever, mosque, whatever you maybe have run away before in the past from. Religion or any type of spirituality. Maybe you're an atheist, but you might start seeing it from a different perspective, and you're going to come back in because you're like, wait a minute, okay, there's something here that I need to go figure out. Remember, we're all in the quantum state. It's a level of discovery at certain levels of consciousness, right? So that's things that might happen. And it's really, really fascinating and really interesting, and I hope that you guys have a really fun time doing this, and don't be too scared, because that's no fun. I'm going to grab my notebook really quickly, and it's in this really awkward position, but I wrote some notes earlier, which I never do. I usually this is all off the cuff. And I want to make sure that I covered a lot of stuff. I never do this, so that's very weird. let's see. La, 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 la. Develop. Oh, you're going to develop other spiritual gifts. That's really fun. So these are all going to start changing, and then you are going to up your, oops, that's supposed to be an arrow, sensitivity to the universal, I'm just going to put UF, universal frequencies, okay? So you might end up start experimenting with clair sentience, clairvoyance, oh boy, clairvoyance. There we go. What is it? Claircognizant. Okay, and like telepathy or telegraphing. And it's funny because, like, I don't know if it's like the U.S. government or whatever, but so I think like they didn't want to come off too woo like the U.S. military or whatever. So they have known that psychic abilities exist, and I think abilities exist. And I just watched a video. I don't. But I heard somebody call it remote viewing, which I thought was so funny. Like way to rebrand that, y'all. You don't want to have a, what's the name? What's that psychic from like the 90s? She was like Jamaican or something. Anyway, they don't want that representing the U.S. military, so they had to change up the name. So what ends up happening when you develop these gifts, and again, everyone has their own unique ones. There's definitely way more than these, but these are just kind of like the top ones that come to mind. But you are going to start, again, bending time and space. You are going to, I'm just going to read off my notebook. You can learn how to bend time and space, but the universe will absolutely crucify you if you use your powers to decrease the global consciousness or try to collapse the world. It goes against the universal law of expansion. You become anxious, paranoid. You'll have mental breaks until you just let go of whatever you're trying to do. And you have to switch into a new separate frequency. And if you go directly against expansion, so if you try to collapse people, if you try to descend, you will suffer the most from trying to descend others. It will be a temporary high, but it's not going to be sustainable. So let's see what else. What else did I write in this little magical book of stuff? Oh, here's some signals. Here are some kind of not warning signs, but like you can tell levels of consciousness with other people. Okay, so if you're looking for advice or whatever, everyone has their pearls of wisdom, but they're only going to do it to the certain level of consciousness that they're at. For instance, anyone who drinks alcohol, they cannot get that far because of the way that alcohol affects their brain. Does not matter if they have one glass of wine a week. Doesn't matter until they clear the alcohol completely from their system. And it might take a year, it might take 2 years, whatever, depending on how much they drank and how long they drank for. They do not have their nervous system back. Okay, so you will not be able to be incensed with the amount of energy or the unlocking the next door if you ask someone who drinks alcohol. So if your therapist drinks alcohol, if your doctor drinks alcohol, if your psychic drinks alcohol, if your yoga teacher drinks alcohol, I would ask them, because they're only going to be able to take you up to a certain level of consciousness. From there, you have to find a new teacher. Okay. So if you are highly caffeinated too, that also is something. So if you see anyone drinking like a Red Bull, they have not understood the energy cultivation practice. Okay, because if you take look, if you know what that is, you will never drink coffee again. You might drink green tea on occasion, but you will not want to drink coffee because that shit is powerful. You also So alcohol consumption, alcohol and caffeine consumption is a huge signal that the people will not have that elevated state of consciousness. And it's not again, it's not a good or bad thing. It's not a judgmental thing. It's just you are on a frequency chart. Your behaviors dictate what your internal looks like. Okay. If you have certain things, it's actually a marker of how far you've gone in the path. And it's not to say that this is because this is literally changing your body's like alchemical process, but like for instance, like overly materialistic. Okay. When you start getting incensed with the universal frequencies, you will not care to go shopping ever again. Like you will, because you need to buy things to like have daily life, but you're not going to be shopping at the mall every weekend anymore. Does not have a meditation practice. And it doesn't have to be called a meditation practice, but if they are not aware of their breath and their breathing, and they don't know what it does to their body, that's a good signal. Like these are, I don't want to label it this, but for all intents and purposes, like this is red flag territory, right? And it's not a red flag because this is shame on anyone. This is going to be a lower consciousness level thing. So you're only going to get so much good advice from them until you need to go to the next person. Okay. So that's what I'm just watching out for. No, it's not a matter of judgment. It's just like, I want to make sure that you are finding the right teachers. So I will end on this. I said this earlier. You already have all of the answers within you, because that is how the quantum properties work. Everything that exists outside of you also exists inside of you. So you have the blueprints already inside of you. Remember, we're living in... I gotta draw my full self, y'all. Okay. We're living in the quantum. Okay. There is a 12D frequency. We are on Jesus and Buddha consciousness at 12D frequency. And if you think that exists outside, if you think that there's spiritual, if you think Jesus existed, okay, by virtue of Jesus existing and reaching that consciousness, you can do that internally as well. It's just a matter of discovery. That's it. Okay. So you have to kind of become aware, right? You have to have your awakening, which I like to call spiritual awakenings actually energy activations, because I think that that's more appropriate for what it is. Okay. When you finally start getting energetically activated, this is the process. Energy activation. You get fed into a system, okay? Remember? It's like this, right? There's always a closed system involved, but it's not really closed, because if you flip this on its side, you're always in a state of elevation. But once you get into energy activation, you're going to go to decluttering, void state, creativity, or the act of creation. And then there's like, enjoy, chill, rest. That kind of exists right here. But that's also actually, this should be happening all the time. And that's the mastery over this system and cycle. So 33 minutes. I want to be conscientious of my neighbors. So I'm going to head out for the night, but I hope you got a lot. All right, guys, until next time, good night.